What if I told you that the secret to happiness in our later years isn't about doing more, but about doing a whole lot less? Today, we're going to unpack a pretty radical idea that true, lasting joy comes from conserving our vital energy, not just spending it.
So, let me ask you this, and I want you to really think about it. Are you running for happiness, filling your days with all sorts of activities? Or could you actually be burning through the most precious resource you have, your own energy?
You see, for so many of us, especially over the age of 58, we fall into this trap. We're taught that a busy life is a happy life. We see an empty spot on the calendar, that void, and we panic, right? We rush to fill it with something, anything, because we believe that activity equals happiness. But what if that's not just wrong? What if it's the very thing that's draining the joy out of our lives? To really understand the price we pay for this mistake, let's look at 3 stories. Think of them as cautionary tales about the real cost of running on empty. First up, meet Colonel Rantawa. He's 62, a retired officer who is terrified of silence. So, to feel alive, he goes to his club every single evening for a few drinks and some fiery political debates. In his mind, he's living life, but the reality is he comes home agitated, irritable, and can't sleep. He's going out to buy happiness, but he's coming home having sold his precious energy.
Well, his big turning point comes one night. He's lying awake, chest feeling heavy, and he picks up an old magazine from 1985. And he reads this line, and bam, it hits him like a bolt of lightning. The article went on to explain how arguments spike cortisol, that's the body's main stress hormone, which can actually tighten your arteries. His fun nightly debates were literally a form of slow suicide.
And this became his new mantra. He had this profound realization that the very silence he was running away from was actually the medicine he so desperately needed. All right, next, let's talk about Sumitraji. She's 65, and she is on a constant hunt for peace. She travels from one holy pilgrimage site to the next, convinced that God is found through physical hardship. But all she really finds are crowds, noise, and, well, excruciating pain in her knees. She comes back from every trip more exhausted, not more enlightened. Her aha moment comes after she literally collapses from the pain. A monk helps her up and shares a story with her from an ancient text. It's about the musk deer, which frantically runs all over the forest looking for a beautiful scent, never realizing the musk is coming from inside itself. And for her, it just clicked. She'd been looking for an inner god in an outer marketplace. And there it is, the powerful lesson. The peace she was chasing all over the country was waiting for her, right inside, the entire time. She just had to be still enough to find it. Our last story is about Professor Shastri, age 60. Now, his addiction isn't debates or travel, it's information. He's completely glued to his phone, terrified of missing out on anything. He's actually suffering from something doctors now call information fatigue syndrome, where the constant flood of data leads to anxiety, brain fog, and total exhaustion. His wake-up call was forced on him. His eyes were burning so badly, a doctor had to bandage them for 24 hours. No screens. And in that forced quiet, he hears 2 things at once. His grandson reading a medical article about how information overload actually shrinks the brain, and a spiritual talk on the radio. And this quote you see here about the mind being a temple, not a dustbin, it just resonated so deeply. This became his new philosophy. He realized his fear of missing out was really just a fear of facing himself. The very next day, he left all his chat groups and started his mental cleanup. Now, these aren't just nice stories. They're actually backed by a ton of science. So let's get into the science of stillness and find out why your body's best mechanic can only get to work when you finally park the car in the garage. Let's just compare the 2 states side by side. On the one hand, you have constant activity. That leads to sensory overload. As we saw with the kernel, it spikes your cortisol, creating a constant energy leak. But on the other hand, what happens with intentional stillness? Well, that's when the magic happens. Research shows it activates your body's auto-repair system. It can even protect your telomeres, those little caps on your DNA linked to aging. And most importantly, it conserves your energy. In many spiritual traditions, this essential energy actually has a name, Prana. Just think of it as your vital life force. It's your inner battery, the resource that we're either leaking through all this frantic activity or conserving through stillness. And this quote just ties it all together perfectly. Happiness isn't something you find outside of yourself. It's the internal feeling you get when your vital energy, your prana, is full and just overflowing. When you save your energy, happiness just bubbles up all on its own.
Okay, so we get the problem, we see the science, but what do we actually do about it? Well, it's something called the auto repair protocol, and it's a really simple way to start getting back the energy you've been losing.
To understand it, let's meet our role model, a man we'll call Anam. He's 60. He's not in a club, he's not on a pilgrimage, and he's not glued to his phone. Every evening, he just sits on a park bench. He's mastered the art of non-doing. From a scientific view, this puts his body in a state of perfect internal balance, or homeostasis, which lets his auto-repair system work wonders. When somebody asks him what his secret is, Anam pulls out this small laminated card. On one side, there's a spiritual mantra. On the other, a little clipping from a scientific journal about meditation. His explanation is as simple as it is profound. I believed both, and I got repaired. So here it is, the protocol itself. 3 simple steps. Step 1, stop running. Just recognize that happiness isn't in the club or the trip or the phone. Step 2, start repairing. Understand that solitude isn't emptiness, it's the repair shop. And finally, step 3, believe the evidence. Both modern science and ancient wisdom are pointing in the exact same direction on this. Which brings us to the final and most important takeaway. The equation for a truly fulfilling life, especially after 58, might be way simpler than we've been led to believe. It's not about adding more. It's about preserving what you already have. Let's close with this beautiful metaphor. So many of us are burning ourselves out in a frantic search for light, but the real goal isn't to be a bonfire that rages and then dies. It's to be a lamp that holds its oil, its energy, its prana, so it can provide a steady, lasting light for years and years to come. So I'll leave you with this one question. In your life, with all its noise and demands, where is your garage? Where is that quiet place you can pull into, turn off the engine, and just let your body's brilliant auto repair system do its work?